Let's talk about Johnson & Johnson, folks. Basically, we have an American industrial giant indeed reporting a profit 9.7% above what the market expected. What does that mean? This means that the profit the market expected was USD 2.1, and it was presented as USD 2.42. When we look at our financial part here, which is important for us to consider, one thing is the expectation that the market has, and another thing is the actual numbers. Is it really growing year after year? How is the health of this company? In essence, when we take this perspective, we see a year-over-year growth of 5.2%. The percentage is quite significant since a year ago the growth was at 6.8, rising to 5.2 now, so we have a company that is growing. When we look at the revenues, they are at 22.5 billion compared to 22.4 billion from the previous quarter and 21.4 billion from a year ago. The company's gross profit today is at 15.7, above the 15.6 from a previous quarter and above the 15 billion from a year ago as well, showing nice growth in its gross profit. When we look at the net income, USD 2.7 billion did not show a great performance, so the company had quite significant expenses that are included in this balance, with a decline of 4.7 from a previous quarter and against 26. However, there is something that is inflating this net income, like asset sales, something that doesn't make sense to be so high. But compared to a previous quarter, 4.7, the earnings per share we have here is USD 1.11 per share, down from USD 1.93 and USD 2.05 a year ago. Basically, folks, what do we have? We do have a surprise, yes, a good revenue growth as well, but when we look at earnings per share and when we look at net income, it's not that great. When we go to price analysis, we can see this more easily. What happens? We are in the same price range. Since January 2021, basically working around $161, meaning that anyone who invested in the company since January 2021 has not seen any profit yet, and if they are still positioned, obviously, because during this period it made a movement of 15%, then it made a downward movement of 10% and operated within this lateralization zone. And it continues in this lateral channel that we call, which is a channel that has been respecting $162. Since January 2024, it has not shown the strength to break through this region and has been in this lateral movement. Even with the market surprise, analyzing the financial aspect helps us understand why the market is not very excited about investing in Johnson & Johnson. What would be the best of worlds? The best of worlds is to wait for buying pressure to come in, breaking through the 170 mark, but then we will already have some difficult barriers for the company to overcome. However, we can only think of an upward trend for Johnson if it breaks through this region of $170, folks. How much is it worth for us? So there is an investment in Johnson & Johnson. It is working in what we call a defined trendless market.